Everybody, welcome to our Friday Fireside chat. We were not here last week because I had the privilege of participating in a gorgeous event in San Diego called the Epiphany Experience. And all the proceeds to that event went to a really incredible organization called Generate Hope, supporting survivors of sex trafficking. So I was really honored to be a part of that. But we're back for our Friday Fireside chat this week. Hey, Annie, I see you. Welcome. It's so great to have you here. So I've really been in preparation for an exciting thing that's coming up on October 1st, albeit going to be a bit amended from the original iteration of it. And for those of you who are familiar with the resilience work, if you've been a client of mine before, you've just been following for a while and you know what's at the heart of it, you'll know that my definition of being a resilient human being has to do with or is related to Donna Hicks's definition of dignity. So at the talk at Epiphany last week, I started the talk by sharing with the group something that I see very resilient people having in common. And that is that there seems to be this really bright light within them that no external circumstance can extinguish. And Donna Hicks refers to that as dignity, or just, that sense of knowing one's inherent value or worth. And the question that I went after in looking at radical resilience was, well, where does that come from? So how do we tap into our own inherent value and worth? What's at the heart of that? And the answers that have come to me over the last, almost a decade of doing this work and 20 plus years in personal growth and spiritual development has to do with that it is a really practical approach to a spiritual journey back home to the essence of who we are. That at our, when we are in alignment with our essential selves, with our essential nature, that in that space we become unshakable and we truly know our inherent value and worth. And so I wanted today to talk a little bit about that idea of, who am I really when I am not bought into all of the ways that I identify externally, right? So if I'm not my job, if I'm not my familial role, my marital status, you name it, just all the ways that we label ourselves, then what's at the essence of that? What's at the core of that? And how do we find our way to that? And that is really what the whole radical resilience process is about, which is to say that, for us to really be able to tap into that essence and get a taste of it. And I would even say, for most of us, we've probably had a taste of it and had an experience of it. We just maybe weren't consciously aware that that's what was going on. But that the radical resilience process offers a way for us to very deliberately find our way back to essence, find our way home to ourselves. What's going on, lovelies, on Instagram? I see Katie's here and 12 Mar underscore CO34 is here. What's going on, y'all? And I think we got someone on maybe Facebook or YouTube joining us as well. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, what that essence quality is. And if we consider that at the heart of who we really are is an essence or a quality of being, right? And it's not so much like what are we doing or what have we accomplished or what do we have that makes us who we are, but who are we being on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis. The radical resilience process asks us, who is it that we are underneath all of life's stuff, right? Life's circumstances, the wounds, the baggage, the negative self image or self-concept, then the programs that we pick up along the way that really don't serve us. So who are we underneath all of that? And I always like to use the metaphor of um, what Michelangelo said about the David, that he said that the David was always there in that block of marble, but that all he had to do was chip away at the pieces of that marble that were not the David. And so, what the radical resilience process offers us is, um, firstly, a mechanism or a way to chip away at everything that is not the essence of who we are. That is the absence of what we could say is just unconditional love. Yeah, if that's who we are at our core, there's going to be different expressions of that. There's going to be different being expressions of that very fundamental thing, which is unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, unconditional um you know the capacity to unconditionally forgive. Like if we really look at what we could call Christ consciousness, or how we can be in line with our most divine nature, that's really what we're looking at. Is, how do I get to this place where I can operate from that beingness or that essence? And that's the question. So I don't think very many of us spend time even asking the question, like, who am I, when I am not all these external circumstances? And so that's a big part of the work. And of course, there's also the healing work that needs to be done. There's a lot of conversation out there about, being your authentic self. And if you're a part of my radical resilience family, you probably got this week's love note already that really addresses that question about being your most authentic self. That's kind of become a buzzword in personal growth and spiritual development. And the question I ask is, well, what does that really mean? And what I offer is that it's our ability to be able to tap into our essential um, nature, that part of us that is eternal, that part of us that is unchanging, that part of us that is really the core of unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness. And so when we look at the radical resilience transformation process, what it offers us on the front end of it is, the ability to heal the wounds and all the ways that we have taken on stuff that prevents us from accessing that unconditional love. And then on the other side of it is ways that we can thrive, right? So that we can start to build up our sense of self efficacy, and that we can access that sense of light within us, that capacity for levity, and really being that bright shining light in the world. So yeah, we need to do some cleanup work on the front end and heal. Um, but then we also need to look at ways that we can live into that being quality that allows for unconditional love and forgiveness, and being who we know ourselves to be underneath all the crud, right? That we acquire over lifetimes and childhood, and all kinds of ways that we take that stuff on. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to get into with you guys today. Wondering how that resonates with you. I know that some of this can feel a little heady and esoteric, and it is. That's why we say it's, a practical approach to a spiritual journey back home. I don't know that we sort of in our day-to-day lives, and certainly not in our Western culture, spend too much time emphasizing the importance of really examining who we are at our essence and our core. And that is why I love the tool of the Enneagram as well, because it does give us a bit of a framework, right, as to how we can access our unique and individual essence qualities, our own godlike selves, right, by way of the virtues and the holy ideas. So Would love to hear your take on that. I know it's just sort of free form right now. That's why we call them fireside chats, because it's meant to be interactive. So if you've got a thought or an opinion on it, please leave a comment. What do you think? Do you want to know more about the radical resilience process and how that helps bring us back to essence? Happy to share. You can always DM me. I'm happy to send you resources. You can join us on October 1st for this radical resilience intensive, where we'll get into some of that. Although like I said, we're amending the time frame of what that's going to be on Friday the 1st. So anyway, that's what I wanted to chat with you guys about today. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think about this whole coming back home to the essence of who you are, and beginning to question what that is and who that is, if it's not your job or your familial role or your marital status or your gender identity? And by the way, I'm not saying that's not who we are. Those are all aspects of what make up our human experience, certainly. And we are so much more than that. I had a teacher I don't know, I guess his father coined this phrase, no matter who you think you are so much more than that. And I think, for me anyway, that's the game I signed up for, is how do I get to the so much more than that, the essence, the essential nature of our beingness, and how do we begin every day to practice more and more our capacity for unconditional love and compassion and kindness, and um, the ability to forgive. I think that's why we're here. I think that's what we're here to learn. So, with that, I'm going to leave the floor open for comments or questions or interactions. And if no one's got anything, then I'll just really happily read and respond to your comments when you watch the replay. So, um, let's see, what else can I just share with you while we're seeing if anyone is going to chime in. Oh, I got nothing at the moment. Sorry, it's all just kind of what is right now. So, what's here and authentic for me is just to have shared this little nugget of wisdom or information with you. That's what's coming through, and then to just hold and breathe and see what your response to that is, and see how we can engage in some dialogue around it. So, not seeing any live comments in the moment, but that doesn't mean that there won't be some later. So, again, let me know what you think about this. And if you have any questions, or if you want to know more, please send me a DM. Ooh, Katie says, it's been amazing for me learning the process to chisel my true self. Yes, girl, I know. So, Katie is an amazing person, and she has been on the radical resilience journey with me as of late. And she's been doing the work, and she has really put her full self into it. And I won't speak for her, but she says she's been getting some really amazing results. So I love that. And I think what's cool about the process is that it's not even so much like, oh, I've arrived at the outcome, but the whole process itself can be really revealing. So thanks for sharing that, Katie. Let us know what the most amazing thing has been for you. What have you discovered about your true self and your essential nature, or your essence qualities? We've actually, her and I, been doing that work specifically. We've been working on that pillar. So she might have some really cool insights to share with all of you in terms of what her experience has been. So no rush, my lovely Katie, just share whenever it feels right. But yeah, I never really know how to sign off on these things other than to tell you that, we'll be back again next week. Wednesday Walks with Jack. If you haven't joined us for those, they are at 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific time. Jack and I go for a little stroll, and I just free flow chat with you about whatever happens to come through me in that moment. And where that was birthed was whenever I walk with Jack, I just get these really cool insights and downloads. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to share this with other people? So Katie says, realizing that the worst part of me is what's making me me and value every piece of it now. Oh, I love that. So just speaks to really being able to embrace all sides of ourselves, right? So, that quote unquote worst side of me, right? That there's always something there for us, even in those shadow qualities. Natalia, hi, honey. I see you on Facebook. So glad that you're here joining us on this live. So, one of my amazing clients just shared that what she's gotten from this process of coming to know herself better and coming to her true self is the realization that the quote unquote worst side of me is what makes me me, and to value every piece of that. And that is so huge. And I just want to say too that when we can do that, when we can forgive the parts of ourselves that we have denied or rejected, then we're able to do that for other people too. And that allows us for more, that allows for more, that capacity to have what we could call Christ consciousness, or the ability to live from unconditional love. Because if we can give that to ourselves, and we can forgive ourselves, and we can heal our wounds, then we can do that for other people too. And I always love the idea in the Course in Miracles, that says there's really only one of us here, meaning that we're all interconnected in this sort of massive being. And when we forgive ourselves, we're forgiving other people. When we hurt ourselves, we're hurting other people, and vice versa. If we can't forgive other people, it becomes really hard to forgive ourselves. And if we are blatantly hurting other people, that ultimately reverberates back to us. And so really our ability to heal our wounds, accept all the parts of ourselves unconditionally, and then ultimately begin to come into a place of thriving is where it's at, is how we can cultivate resilience. So I love that y'all jumped on this live together. Let's do it again next Friday. We do it every Friday at 2:30. And next week we'll have a special treat for everybody. So be sure to DM me about next Friday if you're curious about that. We're not gonna have our fireside chats next Friday, but we are gonna have a really special event. So go ahead and DM me if you want more information about that. And then beyond that, like I said, Wednesday walks with Jack, man. You never know what's gonna come out, but it's always fun. And dude's a superstar. So anyway, if you want to hang with Jack, that's a good way to do it. So with that, I'm going to wish you guys so much love and light and aloha, and can't wait to reconnect with you again. And like I said, I'm here to give you all kinds of love and support in whatever way I can. So just send me a message or leave a comment below. All right. Namaste, everybody. Have a great weekend.